Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste once again, everyone.
Namaste, Guruji. Pranam.
Namaste.
Namaste. So we are
Namaste,
seeing
Guruji.
Namaste. Namaste. The 15th shloka of our 108 slokas. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Sadbudhya Avadharana Sa Shraddha Katitha Sadbihi Yaya Vastupalabhyate. That conviction that the Shastra and the words of the teacher are true is said to be Shraddha. By whom? By the wise people, noble people. And this Shraddha is necessary for the truth to be known. So after discussing the 4 internal disciplines, what are they? Shamaha, Damaha, Uparamaha and Titiksha. We now enter into a brief discussion on Shraddha, which is the 5th internal discipline. Going by our numbering system, we will number it 3E, right? Yeah, 3E. 3A, 3B, 3C, 3D, 3E. Yeah. This word Shraddha is a very popular word in our culture. In fact, Shraddha and Bhakti, these are 2 words which always go together. Bhakti is a reverential attitude, and Shraddha can be translated in various, different ways. Faith, trust, conviction, so many things. So we are always told that whatever we do, it's not necessarily any religious action. Whatever we do, we should do with Shraddha, sincerity, commitment, involvement. So generally we can understand Shraddha by these synonyms, rather, sincerity or commitment or, faith, trust, all these things we understand Shraddha. But in Vedanta, when the word Shraddha is used, its meaning is a little bit different shade it gets. Because the word Shraddha is a very significant word in Vedanta. It has a deep connotation, rather. And this Shraddha in Vedanta, as one of the important qualities which a seeker should possess, is considered to be an extremely important and cardinal virtue of the mind. So from a Vedantic angle, if we have to understand what Shraddha means, we should have some little bit of background discussion, background knowledge. Then only we can know and appreciate its significance. So I will just briefly deal with little bit of a background. Vedanta accepts that self-knowledge alone can give liberation. We have seen that in the earlier slokas also. Adi Shankara himself has stated in so many words that only self-knowledge can give liberation, nothing else. And mind you, self-knowledge is not one of the methods of liberation. It is the only method of liberation, only means for liberation. And that is the declaration in all the scriptures. As I quoted earlier also, Purusha Suktam says, Tameva Vidwan Amrita Iha Bhavati, Tam Eva. Na Anyaf Panta Ayanaya Vidyate. There is no other path for the Ayanam here means the final goal, the destination, which is moksha. Vidyate is not there. There is no alternative method. And Shankaracharya also has said that Jnanat evatu kaivalyam. Only knowledge, through knowledge, self-knowledge only, you will get moksha. Therefore, since this knowledge, self-knowledge is important for a seeker of liberation, the source of that knowledge becomes equally important. From where are you getting this self-knowledge? That source becomes important. Because even, suppose we are offered a tumbler of water, a glass of water, right? What will the first question we'll be asking? From where have you got this water? Is it well water? Is it river water? It is water from, some bottled water. We want to know the source, because we know that this water can either help us or it could actually have a very unhealthy effect on us rather. The borewell water, suppose it's a water stored for a very long time in a tank or some place. Is it potable? All these questions will, even for drinking one glass of water, we take so much care what water we are drinking. So the source of water or sources of water becomes important, because water itself is very important for our life. And in our tradition, any method or instrument by which we gain any form of knowledge, including self-knowledge, is called a pramanam. The word pramanam has got different meanings, as we have seen in other classes also. But generally, the word pramanam used in Vedanta context means means of knowledge and instrument of knowledge. Something, the source, something through which we gain knowledge. Now, what are the different sources of knowledge? And because it is very important, the scriptures analyze and discuss these sources of knowledge very elaborately rather. They talk about 6 different sources of knowledge through which we gain knowledge. Shad pramanani. What are they? Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Artapatti, Anupalabdhi, and Shabda Pramana. Vedanta uses 6. There are other philosophies, they may use 4. Some claim that the Anumana, Upamana, Artapatti are all, just finer, what you can call, distinction being drawn by just the Anumana, Pramana only rather. So they feel that these upamana, arthapatti, anupalabdhi and all are not separate pramanas. We need not go into all those discussions. We just have to understand from a Vedantic point of view, what are the 6 sources we talk about. Okay. I have dealt with these pramanas in Tattva Bodha class also, and probably I don't remember in Vishnu Sahasrama whether I did or not. But we have discussed this in Bhagavad Gita also. Probably we discussed these Shat Pramanas: Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumana, Upamana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi and Shabda Pramana. So I don't think this is the occasion for us to go into details here, because we are focusing on Shraddha. If we go into all these things, it will go somewhere else. So what we have to note here is, among the 6 pramanas accepted by Vedanta, 6 means of knowledge, 1 means of knowledge is Shabdaha. Shabdaha means spoken or written words, a method of communication through which we can give and receive knowledge. That is a accepted pramana rather. Because let's say when we read a newspaper, we get the knowledge about many things. That is, written words give us knowledge. If we listen to the news on the TV or radio, etc., the spoken words, that gives us knowledge. Thus, both spoken and written words which are capable of giving knowledge is called Shabda Pramanam. All the books that we read are all sources of knowledge. So this classification of pramanani based upon different sources is one type of division, one type of classification of these sources of these means of knowledge. So this is the first point to be noted. The second point we have to note is that in our scriptures, these means of knowledge, this pramanam, they are divided into 2 broad varieties: primary and secondary. I'll give you an example. By reading a newspaper or a book, I get knowledge of so many things. Let's say I get knowledge of trees, animals, rivers, mountains, temples, etc. And I can verify that knowledge that I have gained by some other method also. Suppose some book says that such and such temple is there in so and so place, and these are all the some sculptures which are there in those temples and all. That is the knowledge I have gained through the book. But this is a verifiable knowledge. I can actually go to the temple, wherever it is located, verify for myself whether what the book says is correct or not. For example, somebody writes something about Gangotri. Very few people go to Gangotri, Yamunotri and all, isn't it? But if something is written, I can go to Gangotri and verify whether what was written is right or wrong. So it is a source of knowledge which can be validated or verified by some other method or by direct perception using our sense organs. This kind or this type of source of knowledge or pramanam is called a secondary pramanam. Because to verify that knowledge, we use our sense organs, because we will go to Gangotri and see for ourselves what is stated in the book is correct or not. So we are using one of the sense organs for confirming what the secondary pramanam which we have, the knowledge which we have gained through the book or an article, is correct or not. So similarly, every sense organ is a pramana. Every sense organ that we have is a means to gain knowledge. The eyes are pramanam to know forms and colors. Ears are pramanam to know the words, sounds rather, right? Different sounds. Nose is the pramanam to know smells. The tongue is the pramanam to know taste. And the skin is a pramanam to know touch, heat, cold, that kind of a thing. Thus, the sense organs are also called pratyaksha pramanam. But do the sense organs belong to the primary pramanam or a secondary pramanam is the question. And if we analyze, we will find that once a sense organ gives us a knowledge, say I am looking at some object which is, let us say, green in color. So we are seeing with our eyes a green colored object, and the knowledge that I'm getting through my eyes is that this particular object is, the color of that object is green. Because the eye reports the color of the object. Form also it reports. So you can either take form or both, rather, color, form, or both of them. But the point to be noted is, when I do that, I treat that knowledge as final. I don't doubt that knowledge. I don't try to verify that knowledge. You know why I don't try? Because there is no way by which I can verify with using my sense organs other than the eye to find out whether the color is green or not, to confirm whether the color is green or not. Therefore, the other four sense organs, they cannot override the knowledge of the color given by the eyes. Color cannot be verified by smelling, by tasting the object, by touching, or even making a chemical analysis of it, by hearing. We can't. The only pramanam, the only means of knowledge to know color is eyes, and only eyes, nothing else. If that is written in a book that such and such object is green in color, that will become a secondary pramanam, because verifiable by our eyes, which are primary pramanam. So there is no other method by which we can know the color except for using your eyes. Therefore, the color knowledge given by the eye and the eye alone is called primary pramanam. So in the field of colors, no other pramanam other than the eye has got an access to check, verify, prove, or disprove. And if the eyes are not there, I cannot get that knowledge of colors at all. If eyes are there, I can get the knowledge, a knowledge which cannot be verified by other pramanams. Therefore, the eyes come under primary pramanam, whereas a book or an article about a temple or a Gangotri or any other subject matter will come under secondary pramanam. So thus we have got primary and secondary pramanam. And if you analyze whether it is eyes or ears, for example, ears, they are pramanam, means of knowledge for sound. Now we hear a sound, a particular sound, when we get a knowledge of that sound. No other means of knowledge can be used in order to verify what the ears hear are correct or not. So we take it as what my ears are hearing is correct only. If at all we want to confirm it, we will have to use the same pramanam, ears, to listen again and confirm what you have heard in the first time was correct or not. You cannot use any other praman. So the uniqueness of a primary pramanam is that it will give a knowledge which cannot be gained through or challenged by any other pramanam. If that primary pramanam is not there, you cannot get clear, unambiguous knowledge about that subject. Now, understanding this primary and secondary pramanam is very important from a Vedantic context to understand Shabda pramanam. Now, the question is, in the Vedantic context, how should I understand the Shabda pramanam? Should I treat it as a secondary pramanam like other books in the world? Or should I treat it as a primary pramanam like the sense organs? And it is crucial to have this clear understanding about this aspect. Then only we can develop an appropriate attitude, entertain and correct attitude towards it. And Veda itself answers this question. Veda says, I am going to give you the knowledge which is not available for any other instrument of knowledge. Any other primary instrument of knowledge cannot give you the knowledge that I am going to give you. The knowledge I am giving you cannot be verified by any other books or any other, even your five sense organs. It cannot be verified. Keno Upanishad says, na tatta chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati, no manaha, na vidmo na vijanimo, yataidat anushishyat. This knowledge cannot be reached. Cannot be reached by your faculty of sight. Your faculty of speech, vak, cannot reach this knowledge. Na mano gacchati, nor your mind can reach this knowledge. It is other than known, and also it is above the unknown. Anushishyad. It is thus declared by men who know. And Kathopanishad says, Naisha tarkena matirapaneya proktan yenaiva sugyanaya preshta yantvamapah satyadritir bhatasi twangrino bhuyan nachiketah prashta. Dharmaraja tells Nachiketa. Nachiketa, of course, I won't go into the story again, we will lose time. Nachiketa asked Yamaraja for self-knowledge. So in that context, Yamaraja tells Nachiketa that this knowledge cannot be reached by mere reasoning. This knowledge can be gained only through the agamas, through the scriptures. And it has to be taught by a preceptor, a teacher, a guru. So Vedas, and Vedas here means we should always take it as, in the context of Vedanta, as Upanishads. They say, I am the primary source of knowledge, unlike other books in the world. So a Vedantic text, you cannot compare it with any other source. You must understand, this is a point which Puja Swamiji used to know, dwell upon again and again and again, because unless this goes into your mind, your intellect, you are convinced about it, you cannot develop the Shraddha which is required. So Vedanta says, I am like the sense organs. Whatever I say, you have to accept. Other books, what they say, you can accept or not because they are verifiable. Whereas what I am saying, I am talking about Atma, consciousness. I am talking about existence. I am talking about limitlessness. I am talking about punya. I am talking about papa. All these things you cannot verify by any other means or means of knowledge. So only Vedas talk about it. Vedas also means what? Even these are not talked about by the scriptures of the other cultures and other religions. Only our culture, our Sanatana Dharma scriptures talk about all these things. That is where a Bhagavad Gita or a Upanishad, you have to distinguish between that and a Bible or a Quran, etc. This is the uniqueness of our scriptures. And the word used in the Shastras is Shastra Chakshuhu. Shastram is like the eyes. So the field of Shastra is an area which is not available for or accessible to any other instrument of knowledge, including the sense organs. Or even if the sense organs are enhanced by microscope, telescope, and all the other scopes, whatever scope you can think of, any scientific methods of inquiry. Through them, we may be able to get so many different types of knowledges, but the knowledge which is contained in the Vedas, you will not be able to get through any one of them. So, what Vedanta says is called Alaukika Vishayaha, Apaurusheya Vishayaha. Therefore, Veda is a pramanam in its own right, a primary source of knowledge. This we have to understand very carefully. And if Veda pramanam is not there, we cannot get any knowledge about those alaukika vishayas. Just I told you, if eyes are not there, you can never know the colors with the help of any other instrument. If we lose our eyes, we have to miss the entire world of colors. If I blindfold myself, who will be the loser? I will be the loser because the rich experience and knowledge of colors I will not get if I knowingly blindfold myself. But if I use Veda, I can enrich myself by knowing something which is not accessible to other pramanams. Therefore, we can never ever compare a jnani or even a seeker of this knowledge with any other, great accomplishers in other fields. Scientific field, some Nobel Prize somebody has got. Through his experiments, he has gained knowledge and he is sharing that knowledge with people. That is only a secondary pramana. We can verify whether what he has done is correct or not. In fact, the Nobel Committee themselves do that job. Before giving the Nobel Prize, they verify whether the claims made are correct or not. So these are all, even Nobel Prize guys, whatever knowledge that they have got, they are all verifiable. Whereas a jnani's knowledge is not verifiable. Jnana is knowledge of his own self. Jnana is knowledge of this entire universe. Not verifiable, because the Jnani has got that knowledge from the scriptures and also his own guru, which is a primary source, not verifiable by any other means of knowledge. Therefore, just as when I see a color and I take it as the final and factual knowledge I am gaining, when I hear a sound, I take it as the final and factual knowledge of the sound I am gaining. Similarly, once I go through the scriptures and understand their contents, the knowledge that I receive, I should take it as factual and final knowledge. Thus, once I choose the right pramanam for gaining knowledge, then I can use whatever method of inquiry is required to extract the knowledge out of it. And once I have extracted it and assimilated it, that knowledge is final and cannot be challenged by any other pramanam. If I have got any doubt about what the Vedas say, and since I cannot have access or recourse to any other means of knowledge to verify that, the only thing that I can do is, if I am not convinced, study the Vedas again and again and again to see whether in the first instance I understood what is said is correctly or not. That is the only method I can actually use the same pramanam to verify what that pramanam says. Like I told you, in the case of eyes, if you see a color, you have a doubt about the color, you have to use the eyes again to make sure that the doubt is cleared. Maybe you can bring that object closer, whatever it is, right? Magnifying glass you can use. But ultimately, if I have to verify the color, I have to reuse the same eye pramana. And after I verify that, after I am convinced, then I have to accept it and take it as a fact. So that is why, similarly, if I have no conviction about Vedas, what the Vedas says, Vedic teaching, only course available to me is restudy, get the guidance from maybe a different guru, where every guru has got his own style of explaining, right? But then the explanation given by one guru may not appeal to all the students who are listening to him. His explanation may not be wrong, but it may not appeal to all the students. So the student can go to a different guru and seek the explanation. So this is the only process by which one can get convinced about this unique knowledge. Knowledge from the scriptures first, and then to clear any doubts or any questions that arise, the guidance of a guru. And that's why Veda promises, you approach me as a primary pramanam, I will enrich you. And this attitude towards the Veda, with the awareness born out of the understanding that Veda is a primary pramanam, this awareness born attitude is called Shraddha. And Veda says you will get all the results, you can enrich your life, you can fulfill your life you can get moksha also. I will help you, but there is only one important condition. That is, you can study me again and again, but you should approach me with Shraddha. So the starting point is that I have a trust, I have a conviction that what the Vedas are saying is correct. But after reading the Vedas, studying the Vedas, if I find I'm not getting convinced about it, then the only course available to me is to study it again and again, go to different gurus and get clarification. Therefore, that the Veda is a primary source must be a clear and unambiguous conviction. And Gita says, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Only those who accept the Veda as the primary source, such people are called Shraddhavan. Shraddhavan means those who possess Shraddha, as explained, only they will get knowledge of the self. In fact, Krishna talks about Shraddha in different chapters, 2-3 more places. One place is Ashraddhadhana Purusha hai dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. O Arjuna, those people who have no faith in this teaching continue certainly in the course of samsara, fraught with death and without attaining me. Therefore, Shraddha is very important. If we don't have that attitude, Veda will not give the ultimate benefit. Maybe by studying Vedas, we may get some other benefits, like we may become a scholar of Veda. Like many people today in universities, they teach all Upanishads and all. They are scholars. They write, publish articles and all. But they themselves have no Shraddha in what they are saying. If they would have understood what the Vedanta wants to say and expects what you should do, they won't be teaching in the universities Vedanta. Vedanta is for one's own seeking, rather. Of course, not get into that. There are professions, they have to earn, sustain families. So this is one of the things that many people these days, the Neo-Vedantins, have chosen. So if you just have theoretical or intellectual knowledge of what the scriptures say, you will be invited to many seminars, earn a lot of money and all that. But moksha will not come. Promise of moksha is possible only when there is Shraddha in the teaching of Vedanta. So that's why, if you have any doubt, study again and again and again. Take help of a guru. Take help of commentaries of Adi Shankara, sub-commentaries of that commentary. In fact, a bhashyam in the Vedantic scriptures, a bhashyam written by someone like Adi Shankara or some other great scholars. There are many others who read those bhashyams. They find that students may find it difficult to understand certain aspects of this. So they write a commentary on the bhashyam, commentary on the commentary. Then there are sub-commentaries, sub-commentaries. What they call tika is there, tippani is there. So many sources are there. If you go through all of them, in case you are not convinced in the first round, all aspects of Vedanta are analyzed from so many different standpoints. Once you do that, gradually you will build up Shraddha and you will attain the benefit in this very life itself. And that is the uniqueness of our Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta doesn't promise moksha after death, but it promises moksha here and now. We can actually experience the benefit. It is achievable. It has been achieved by numerous people in this life. So why not you? This is the declaration of any traditional Acharya. Therefore, we should make sure that we should not approach Veda like we approach all other books. This is a very important concept of Shraddha. And during the study of Vedanta, sometimes we will feel that the Vedantic teaching is contradicting our sensory experiences. Or it will appear that the Vedantic teaching is contradicting logical reasoning. Once this happens, once we feel like this, we will begin to doubt the validity of Vedanta. Then there will be a dent in our Shraddha. Therefore, the moment we have that feeling, we have to immediately resolve that issue. And in fact, Vedanta itself considers this to be a very important exercise. Well, whenever we come across or we feel there is a contradiction or seeming contradictions existing between Vedanta and other sources of knowledge, we have to resolve it immediately. And this process is called Mananam. Mananam is a very important exercise, a very important sadhana, which a seeker has to go through. In fact, the highest or the most exalted text in Vedantic teaching is the Brahma Sutra, written by Vyasacharya and profoundly commented by Adi Shankara. There are 555 sutras. Brahma Sutra study itself is a lifetime project. Take years to study Brahma Sutra. Out of 555, normally students like me, we study only we are taught only 4 sutras. And that too, towards the end of the course, in a hurried manner rather. 4 sutras, they finish it in 2 months. Whereas each sutra, you can spend 2 months easily in understanding a sutra. Because Brahma Sutra, Bhashyam is there. Then for that Bhashyam, there are again, as I told you, Tikas are there, Tippanis are there. So when you go through Brahma Sutra also, it's called Nyaya Shastra, logic and reasoning. And you will be amazed when you go through it, that many times, even our normal thinking, the most intelligent person, certain aspects will not appeal to him, or it will not even occur to him. When you read Brahma Sutra, oh, this angle is also there. Oh, that angle is also there. And there is a full chapter in Brahma Sutra, the second chapter, consisting of 157 sutras, dedicated exclusively to show that Vedantic teaching never contradicts sensory perceptions or logical reasoning. Therefore, having Shraddha in Vedanta does not make me irrational or illogical. Shraddha and rationality always go together. We need not and we do not become irrational by developing Shraddha towards Vedantic teaching. We can never become unscientific. We can never become irrational. We need not sacrifice our intellect. In fact, what we have to do continuously is to keep on sharpening our intellect. Therefore, this attitude that the Vedanta is the primary source is called Shraddha, a very, very important virtue. And that is what Adi Shankara emphasizes in this shloka. Shastrasya guruvakyasya satya buddhi avadharana. There are other readings also, slight changes are there, but no change in the meanings rather. So we will stick to what we are saying. Satya buddhya avadharana. The word avadharana also has got several meanings. In this context, we will take it as listening. Avadharayati means to ascertain one meaning, the meaning of something. To hear, listen to carefully is another meaning. So basically, avadharana, we can say in Vedantic terminology, Shravanam. Shravanam was of what? Shastrasya avadharana. Listening to the scriptural teaching. Now, listening is used because normally scriptures are taught through oral tradition. The writing tradition has come only very recently, rather. That's why even when you have the books and all that, it is always advisable that you listen to a guru and absorb what is being told in your intellect. Listening to a guru or studying Vedanta from a textbook will be far, far inferior and confusing as compared to listening from a guru. One biggest advantage of listening from a guru is you can, if there is a doubt in your mind, you can raise that doubt and get it clarified from the guru. So, Shraddha in Shastra word should be there. Then Guru Vakyasya Avadharana, listening to the words of the Guru, Shraddha in the words of the Guru. Guru will not misguide me. Guru has got no axe to grind. Guru is not doing all these things or giving me talks to earn a lot of money for his 7 generations. Of course, Guru may not, if he is a Jnani and a sannyasi, he will not have 7 generations. But that kind of attitude should be there. And Shastram and Guru will always go together. Because Shastric words often are very cryptic, very difficult to understand. And they have to be unfolded by a guru, and that too by a qualified guru only can do that. A guru who has come in the parampara, in the tradition. Therefore, Shraddha is Shastrasya Shabda as well as Guru's Shabda. Shastra Vakyam as well as Guru Vakyam. Shraddha in that. Therefore, we require Shraddha towards both Shastra Vakyam and Guru Vakyam. With that attitude, with that Shraddha, Avadharana, listening should be done. And this attitude here, Adi Shankara calls it Satya Buddhya. Satyam here means primary pramanam. Shastram, as we have discussed, an independent, reliable source of knowledge, authentic source of knowledge, like other sense organs. But just like eyes also can sometimes reveal optical illusions, they do not dent the validity of the eye. Just because eye is showing an optical illusion, we don't start disbelieving the eyes. We still look upon the eyes as an authentic source of knowledge. Similarly, even though the Vedantic teaching seemingly contradicts other sources of knowledge, if we analyze deep, really we will find it doesn't contradict. Therefore, Shastra or Vedanta is very much valid like the eyes. This validity is called Satyam. Buddhihi means awareness. So, Pramanam iti Buddhihi, Satya Buddhihi. and Satya Buddhya, with that attitude. In fact, the word Shraddha, there is no proper English word with which to translate word Shraddha. Any word you use falls short of what exactly the Shraddha attitude is. Swami Paramatmananda says, best we can say is Shraddha is an attitude born of the awareness of the fact that Vedanta is an independently valid source of knowledge. This is the maximum, not one word. You have to use a whole sentence to explain what is Shraddha. Accepting the scriptures, the words of the scriptures, accepting the words of the Guru as the primary pramanam for the knowledge of the self, for gaining moksha, is Shraddha. This is the attitude. And with this awareness, avadharana, shravanam has to be done. Sa Shraddha Katita Sadbihi. Sa can be translated as Satya Buddhi here. So this attitude is called Shraddha. Sadbihi means by noble teachers, by wise men. Yaya Vastu Upalabhyate. Yaya means by this alone. Vastu Upalabhyate. The absolute reality can be known. Absolute reality can be attained. Therefore, Shraddha is very, very important. Next, we continue with the 16th sloka. Okay. Sarvada stapanam buddhehe shuddhe brahmani sarvatha tat samadhanamityuktam natu chittasya lalanam. Anvaya of the sloka is Shuddhe Brahmani Sarvatha Sarvada Buddhehe Sthapanam Tat Samadhanam iti Uktam Natu Chittasya Lalanam. Shuddhe, in pure, Brahmani, in Brahman. So Shuddhe Brahmani means in pure Brahman, Sarvatha, in every manner, Sarvada, at all times, always, Buddhehe, the mind of the mind, Sthapanam, placing, Tat, that, Samadhanam, concentration of the mind, Iti, thus, Uktam is said, Tu, but, Na, not, Chittasya, of the mind, Lalanam, pacifying. So this verse deals with the 6th subdivision of the 3rd qualification. 6th and last, 3F, right? Final subdivision. It is called Samadhanam. Tattvabodha students who will remember that we have seen all these in those classes rather. There, Samadhanam was defined as Chitta Ekagrata, mental concentration or focusing faculty. Sarvada Sthapanam. There is another reading also, Samyak Sthapanam. Fixing the mind on an object for a length of time without allowing it to wander. Concentrating on a particular field for a length of time. Sarvada Sthapanam. But generally, our mind is of wandering nature, that we all know. Especially when Rajoguna is predominant, mind will be restless, preoccupied and wandering. And that is why a seeker is advised to develop Sattva Guna more and more and more. One of the aspects of Karma Yoga is to develop Sattva Guna, so that Rajoguna and Tamoguna become subsidiary, secondary to Sattva Guna. Sattva Guna becomes predominant rather. Once Sattva Guna is predominant, then the restlessness of the mind also is greatly reduced. So, for developing the focusing faculty, Vedantic scriptures, separate exercise is prescribed, which is called upasana yoga or meditation, which is part of karma yoga. So why do we need to do meditation? For chitta ekagrata, for samadhanam, gaining samadhanam, developing this qualification of samadhanam. Second chapter of Gita, Krishna says, Esha te bihita sankhe buddhir yoge tvimam shrunu. There he uses the word buddhir yoge, means karma yoge, samadhi yoge cha. We have seen that already, Gita students have seen. Then fourth chapter is Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsiddha. Yoga samsiddha word used in this sloka, Adi Shankara interprets that as samadhi yoga. And samadhi yoga is a part of karma yoga, which, as I said, is also called upasana yoga, practice of daily meditation to develop focusing faculty. In fact, you don't need to do anything separately. Those people who have actually been, ordained to practice Sandhya Vandanam. If you practice Sandhya Vandanam 3 times a day and do Gayatri Japa meditation, that itself will develop a lot of concentration, focus. But then generally when we talk of meditation, we talk of using some alambana, some object of meditation. Normally, we use God as an object of meditation. And in our tradition, God is presented in 3 versions. Ekarupa Ishvara, or a God or a particular deity, like Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Vishnu, etc. We try to dwell upon for some time. In fact, dhyana slokas of Vishnu Sahasranama, you can actually, they are so explicit that you can use the dhyana slokas to meditate on Mahavishnu, to develop chitta ekagrata, making your mind, or preventing the mind from becoming restless, wandering mind. So this is the first type of meditation, Eka Rupa Ishvara. Then when you graduate from Eka Rupa Ishvara, you graduate to Vishwarupa Ishvara meditation. There you recall Purusha Suktam, Bhupadau Yasya Nabhir Vyada Sura Nilas Chandra Surya Netre. So leave Vishnu Sahasranamam, graduate to Purusha Suktam, and meditate upon Vishwarupa of Ishvara. Then when you further progress, come to Vedanta, we meditate on Bhagavan as absolute reality without any attribute, Nirgunam Brahma, Shuddha Brahma. Even when you are meditating on Rama, you can meditate on Rama as Shuddha Brahma. There's a beautiful Carnatic song, Shuddha Brahma Paratmara Rama. Not a song, it's a sloka rather. How to meditate on Rama as Shuddha Brahma, Vedantic meditation. Therefore, we meditate focusing on either Eka Rupa to start with, then we graduate to Vishwarupa, then we graduate further to Shuddha Brahma. This process of meditation is called Chitta Samadhanam. Another word used for this in Ashtanga Yoga is Samadhihi. Of course, they use different terminology, Savikalpaka Samadhi, Nirvikalpaka Samadhi and all that. Samadhi means focusing. And that alone is called here Samadhanam. Okay. It's time now. We will continue in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Avasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much. Namaskaram.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om Guruji.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
Dhanyavada.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Dhanyavada. Yeah. Yes, any questions, comments, queries?
Guruji,
What's going
when
on?
we talked about the primary pramanam,
Reaction.
Yeah.
Raise hand.
Somebody, others, please mute so that like, okay, muted. Yeah, yes, tell me, Krishnanji.
primary pramanam and secondary pramanam.
Yeah.
Now, this case of recent thing of Sengol,
Mm.
did it start as a secondary and it became primary?
Yeah, verification. Yeah, that is true. But again, primary pramana means we can actually use our five sense organs and our mind, intellect to verify, go into history, verify what is being stated about that Sengol is correct or not. Right?
True.
So, from that perspective also, whatever is said in the press or explanation given, to begin with, it will be only secondary pramana.
True.
See, the difference between a secondary pramanam and a primary pramanam is, secondary pramanam is verifiable through primary pramanam, whereas primary pramanam is not verifiable through any other pramanam. This is the difference. So we have to apply to every case. Whether I can, which is verifiable, then yes. Not verifiable, then primary pramanam. That is the broad distinction we can understand this. And that is why Vedas, what Vedas teach us, for example, the self-knowledge that there is Atma, there is Brahman. You cannot prove all these things through any other pramanam. You can't see Brahman, you can't touch Brahman, you can't smell Brahman, isn't it? Only Vedas to tell us these things. And that is why we take it as primary pramana. That's why the Shraddha, then only Shraddha will develop. So that is how we have to understand it. Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you, Guruji. Thank you very much. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Who is this? Ramuji, your hand has gone up.
Hariji. Hariji is with me.
Okay. Hariji is at your place. Okay.
Just now with me.
Very good. Oh, very nice. Yeah, he was with me yesterday. We had a very good time spent. Yeah, in fact, we had good lunch and we spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
Very nice,
Okay.
I seem to see gurus feel blessed when students come and meet them rather.
Yeah.
Very nice it was. Yes, Hariji, tell me.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Guruji, this is not connected with what you taught us today.
Okay.
It's in general. Can you perhaps give a briefing about Brahma coming out of on lotus, coming out of the Nabhi of
I will have
Vishnu?
to.
What could be the interpretation?
Interpretation is, from the way I look at it,
Yeah, please.
Bhagavan Vishnu visualize him as Brahman. Lakshmi is with him,
Yeah.
becomes Ishwara. Right? Now, from his navel, the lotus is coming out. What is that lotus represent? It represents the entire creation. So, Vishnu, Lakshmi represent Brahman and Maya. Combined together, the lotus is representing the entire creation. Then what is the significance of Brahmaji? The significance of Brahmaji is, once having created the very first step of this creation, further creation is delegated to Brahmaji. Vishnu and Lakshmi do not want to engage, having all the portfolios with themselves only. They delegated to Brahmaji, who is a prime minister. Brahmaji will have his own team of people to further create this entire world, this entire cosmos, the entire universe. A process which still continues to go on, rather. So, from what I understand, if I visualize that that picture of Vishnu, in his lying down, on Adisesha, and Lakshmi ji sitting at near his feet, and the lotus coming out, and Brahmaji being there. This is what I visualize. I understand from that. That's the message I am taking, that Brahman and Maya combined are responsible, are the source, creators of this entire universe, which after the first stage, they delegated that job to Brahmaji. That is why Brahmaji in our scriptures is also called the creator. I don't know whether this
No. It is
this satisfies you or not, but I can't do.
No, not the question of that. At least this gives me an idea.
This is my little intellect, small intellect. This is what appeals to me.
Yeah. Okay.
So that represents the whole cosmos, basically, the process.
I asked the same question to Ramu also.
Okay, what answer did he give? Let me be.
I didn't give anything.
Yeah, he didn't give me anything. He said you asked Acharya. No.
Okay. Right.
Thank you, Jay.
Another question? Hari Om. Yes, Lataji.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
It's wonderful listening to the meaning of Shraddha, and yeah, this is a repetition of what was taught in the Tattva Bodha, but still it is new and much more elaborate.
Different way it's dealt with.
Yeah, different way.
We didn't go into so much details in Tattva Bodha.
Yes.
Going into details.
Yes, Guruji. About this meaning of avadharanam, probably the literal meaning is also something. Dharana means you take it in. I have noted it down as listening to what the scriptures say, or listening to what the Guru is saying, and absorb what is being said, and that is what I have noted it down as avadharana. Am I right in that?
In this context.
In this context, okay.
Avadharana is a very general word used in language, and it has got different shades of meanings, rather.
Okay.
So one meaning of avadharana is avadharayati means listen or absorbs, right?
Yeah.
Avadharayati means absorbs, right?
Yes.
So here in this context, listening to the words of the Guru and Shastra and absorbing that knowledge is avadharana.
Okay, Guruji. Thank you very much, Guruji, for clarifying. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you. Any other question? Doubt? So if nothing is there, no hands are going up. So we'll close the class and continue next week. Hari Om. Thank you all very much once again.
Thank you.
Dhanyavada. धन्यवाद.
Hari Om. Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om ji.